Hey guys, with the recent debut of Kepler, which has Dion who competed on Produce 48, there's been a lot of talk about where the contestants from Produce 48 ended up. So today, we're going to be tier ranking all the groups that contain former Produce 48 contestants that didn't make it into IZ*ONE. For groups containing IZ*ONE members, there's a separate video linked in the card. We have 5 tiers today. They range from I stan, which is pretty self-explanatory. If I stan the group or I'm close to standing them, they'll go in that tier. And then at the bottom we have who, which is also pretty self-explanatory. I ranked everyone in the order that their Produce 48 member debuted. Timestamps for each group will be in the description, and of course, make sure to comment how you would rank these groups and who is your favorite. Trust me, it gets spicy. So without further ado, let's get started. If you know me, you know I love Promise, so of course I'll be putting them in the amazing tier. Honestly, I'm not sure if they would be the same group if Yuri made it into IZ*ONE, so in a way I'm kinda glad she didn't, because then we wouldn't have bops like Talk and Talk and Fun. Lately, it's been looking like Promise are finding their own style that's a mix of mature and cute, and I like it a lot. They've had consistent comebacks since being moved to Pledis Entertainment, and each comeback is different from the last, without departing from that same mature but still youthful style that I mentioned. Promise also has a pretty great discography, and I'm a big fan of their 9-way ticket mini especially. They totally deserve the hype they've been getting, and maybe they should have even more hype. Although I wish they had a full album. Did they have one yet? I don't know, maybe they did. But it sucks for Yuri that she had to go from one survival show to another, but I'm sure she's happy with her time returned to this amazing group. Like Promise, Cherry Bullet has had a lot of recent activities, and I'll put them in amazing as well. It sucks that they haven't gained the same popularity as Promise, but recently some members went on Girls Planet 999 and their comeback Love in Space has been going well. Love in Space is such a bop, and it adds to their discography, which actually I think is one of the most underrated in 4th gen. They have so many good B-sides like Ruddy, Violet, Ping Pong. I'm pretty sure there's more on their newest album. I don't think FNC is good at, anything, and it sucks for Cherry Bullet that they lost 3 out of their 10 members pretty early on. In my opinion, FNC didn't really capitalize on Haeyoon's popularity from Produce 48 as well as they could have, and in addition to that, their abrupt concept switch with Hands Up didn't help, because right after that they went back to a cute concept. I mean, I'm glad that they went back to that cute concept because it suits them better and the music is better in my opinion, but I do blame FNC for being so inconsistent about it. Hopefully, they can gain more popularity and have consistent comebacks in the future. For me, Everglow had an amazing first year or so, but for now, I'm gonna put them in pretty good. I haven't been a fan of Pirate and First as much as I was of Bon Bon Chocolat and Dun Dun. So for me, those pros and cons kind of balance out and they can stay in the pretty good tier. One thing I do appreciate about Everglow is how they have a signature style and sound. Do I like that signature style? Not really, but their music videos and stages are always fun to watch. Mia especially is a great performer, and I was this close to seeing them on tour a couple of years ago. Of course, a couple of years ago is directly when the Panorama started, so that did not happen, but I really wanted to go to see them. I also like how Everglow has variety in their B-sides, and most of the time I prefer their B-sides to their title tracks, probably because their title track hurts my ears, but that's a different issue. Even though I liked their debut most out of all their title tracks, I wouldn't call them a group that peaked at debut. They gain success with every comeback. It's just that lately I feel like they're catering to a different audience than they started out with. I don't know how much of their stuff I'll tune into in the future, but I do think that they'll become more successful. Now, it kind of hurts to do this because I actually think they're a pretty okay group, but I'm gonna put them in the Who tier. I'll give you $5 if you can name more than 2 songs from this group, because even though I paid attention to their subunit debut with Milkshake, and also their full group debut with Sunday, nothing beyond that has really made an impact. Wait, actually, no, that's a lie, cause their only other comeback was Vavi Girl, and I think people actually liked that, like, people talked about that for a hot minute, but I don't think people really got to know the group as a whole from that. They just liked watching that one girl do backflips, and they're like, oh look, Fanatics is so underrated, but then they didn't really do anything beyond that. It kind of hurts that they aren't more popular, but I really blame their company here because they didn't use Doa's popularity from Produce 48 in the right way. There was a subunit, great. I liked that, and it was pretty iconic. But after that, they waited almost an entire year to debut the whole group, and by that time, the interest in Doa specifically had waned. Why would you debut an even bigger group? Because, think about it, that's just gonna dilute Doa's popularity even more. I will say their company has stepped it up lately, capitalizing on the members that competed on Girls Planet 999, but they have yet to make a comeback, so we'll see how that turns out. I'll be honest, I was kind of wavering on where I should put Rocket Punch, but their latest comeback Chiquita convinced me to put them in the amazing tier. Besides being named after a banana company, you know what, it's still pretty awesome. Rocket Punch is another group that has a really underrated discography, and I love their B-side Ride especially. They've had a consistent style and promotion, which is something that I can't say about a lot of groups in here, up until 2021, where they kind of fizzled out and they were pretty late to the retro trend when they released Ring Ring. But even so, they have all the ingredients to be successful, and I'm not sure why they aren't. Their budget slowly decreases with each comeback, and it sucks because Willem doesn't have any huge group that brings in the money to make the rest of their groups work. That being said, they clearly need the support right now, and everyone should go check out Chiquita. Maybe if they stick with this second-gen type stuff, they could carve out a new style that suits them better. And to be honest, this new song definitely sounds better than Bouncy and Juicy did. I still have hope for this group, and they definitely deserve the amazing tier. I'll put Alexa in pretty good because while she's been consistently releasing music and has built up a fan base for herself, the music that she does make just isn't for me. I like her concept, and I think it's pretty unique for a solo artist, and I also like how she builds her lore through her music videos. But lately, it feels like she has just lost some of that direction she had with her debut. Each new comeback is in an entirely different style, and while I do like her newer stuff more than Bomb or Revolution, I wish she would just pick a lane. My favorite song of hers is actually the B-side Kitty Run, and that's more because of the performance aspect. You know, regardless of how I feel about her songs, I can't deny that she always has great stages. Her latest activity seems to be the American TV show American Song Contest, so maybe she'll bring some good K-pop rep to the show. Even though they debuted in 2017 before Produce 48, member Chaejong was added with their Jackpot comeback in 2020. And unfortunately for Elris, I'll be putting them in Who. Like Fanatics, I honestly wish they were higher, but they haven't come out with anything in a while. I liked Jackpot, even though it was a bit loud for me. Somehow it became one of my most played songs in 2020. And even before Jackpot, I liked a lot of their stuff, especially Pow Pow and Summer Dream. But like a lot of Nugu groups, their company just doesn't seem to have the funds to give them comebacks, so I don't know if they can rise out of Nugudom in the future. Now that they have 7 members and have been transferred to a new company, it's still possible they could have a comeback or two, but I'm not sure. Hopefully one of their songs goes viral a la Brave Girls and they can be saved. Secret Number is pretty, okay, and I don't have much strong feelings about them one way or another, so I'll put them in the average tier. They had a pretty strong debut and first comeback, but lately they've had some lineup changes, and I didn't like their most recent comeback with Fire Saturday. It's kind of funny because now that Minji joined the group, they have not 1 but 2 former Produce 48 contestants in the group. Honestly, when they debuted, they were just another teen crush group, and at that time, there were so many groups like that, so Secret Number didn't really stand out. Now that they have a more retro vibe, I think it's better, but they've only had 1 comeback with that. Among 4th gen groups, they don't really stand out, but that could work out for them somehow, cause nothing they make can really be called bad. I can't call it good either. They're pretty average for me, but I see why people would like their releases. Now, if you thought Fanatics and Elris were Nugu, now we have BlingBling, and I will be putting them in Who as well. And even aside from that, I don't know how they're supposed to escape Nugudom while releasing songs like GGB. Honestly, that song will never make sense to me. At least Elris and Fanatics have some pretty good songs, but just so you get my point, I'll play a little bit of this song now. I didn't like that when it came out, and I still don't, and I hope you can see why. They've only had 1 comeback with Oh Mama since then, so there isn't much else to judge them on, but if they release more stuff, I might change my mind. Right now, they're in that sorta limbo state that a lot of 4th gen Nugu groups are, where they haven't had a comeback in a while, but they aren't technically disbanded or anything. Maybe one of the members will post on social media that they've actually been disbanded for months. Trust me, it's happened before. Or maybe they'll have a comeback and switch out half the members. At this point, who knows? I'm sure you've had enough of me being negative at this point, so I'm happy to say that I'm putting Purple Kiss in I Stan. Yes, finally a group that I do actually stan, and trust me, I feel really good about standing Purple Kiss because I swear, I did not mean to. I annoy my friends enough talking about them, so now I get to do it to all of you as well. At first, I just brushed them off as another 4th gen lame debut, but then I saw their performances and the talent just kinda overwhelmed me. I kid you not, I felt attacked by how good they were. Now, I can admit faults even among my alts, and I will say that not all of them are good at everything, but it's okay because the members that are good hard carry the group. Also, Purple Kiss is the only group that I can genuinely say are nice people because I have had a video call with them and I talked to all the members and it was like the best experience of my K-pop fandom life. Oh my god, I can't stop talking about Purple Kiss. As of me making this video, their comeback no, I don't know how to pronounce that and I probably said it wrong. But yeah, their 3rd mini album is not out yet. But based on the teasers and the highlight medley, I just know it's gonna be amazing. Their B-sides are always 10 out of 10, their performances are always amazing, and their title tracks are just, oh my god, I can't even express to you how much I love their songs. Hashtag Purple Kiss 2022 nomination, because I will make sure that everyone knows about their comeback. Stan Purple Kiss, everyone! Lightsum is a group that I just don't think has hit their stride yet, so for now, I'll put them in average. The cute concept they had with their debut was pretty good, although at parts it felt overwhelming. Vanilla is a song that kinda hits you in a way. Afterwards, they made me feel like I ate a lot of candy, but it was too sweet and it made me feel sick. I like Vivace more, but even though I preferred that song to Vanilla, in a way I missed the punch that Vanilla had. This is a group that I'm just not sure about, and that's why they're just average for me. Also, who knows how Cube is gonna screw them up in the future. I mean, obviously, I hope for the best, but it's Cube, so you never know. I hope they continue with their concept in 2022, and I can see them reaching new heights. I actually liked Bugaboo's debut a lot, but it lacked longevity for me, so I'm putting them in average as well. This is a really confusing group because everything about them, especially their song, but their concept as well, everything about them is just a little different than what you expect. Their title track, Bugaboo, yes, the title track has the same name as the group. Yeah, their title track is a pretty okay song, but there are so many random noises in it. Like there's a trumpet, there's a whiplash noise, and I just don't know what to think. And their styling and stuff, I'm sorry, it's just ugly. Like, I cannot beat around the bush. It is bad. When they were promoting, I watched pretty much every stage because even though I don't like the song now, for a very short period of time, I was pretty obsessed with it. But then I forgot about it just as quickly, and for me, that makes me decrease their ranking. They don't have a comeback yet, though, so maybe it'll be better. I'm just waiting for that first comeback to come out. Ah yes, Kepler, the reason I'm making this video. Dion has gone through so much, and for her sake, I'll put them in pretty good. Even aside from that, pretty good is a tier that fits Kepler really well. Sure, nothing they make has blown me away, but like I said in my Queendom video, linked in the card, I think they have a lot of potential. Their group is pretty good. I just wish they could use that potential in a comeback instead of wasting their time going on Queendom. As for their debut, it was pretty middle of the road, and I preferred their B-side Mask much more. But for some reason, the raps in Wa Da Da are really addictive, and sometimes I'll find myself randomly doing the dance from Dion's first lines. Da-na-na, watch my step. Okay, you know what, I'm not gonna try this. I can't sing like other YouTubers can, but I really didn't want to like the song, but it somehow works for me. Kepler is a group that is a good example of the kinds of groups I wanted to show in this video. So many Kepler members have gone through different companies, debuted in different groups, and in the case of Dion, competed in not one, but 2 survival shows. For me, survival shows end up being a who's who of 4th gen because of all the groups that come out of them. In this video alone, we have like half the major girl groups that debuted these past few years. And there are so many Produce 48 contestants that have yet to debut, and I actually think there are a few debuts coming up soon. Even for those trainees that didn't make it into IZ*ONE, the multitude of groups in here show that it's still possible to debut and maybe even be successful. Sure, those members that did make it into IZ*ONE are obviously doing better, but take G-Idol who has Soyeon from Produce 101, and Idol are more successful and active nowadays than anyone who made it into IOI. At this point, it's just too soon after Produce 48 to tell what will happen to any of these groups in the long term. Do you guys have any predictions for your faves? And of course, how would you rank these groups? Make sure to comment your thoughts down below, and the tier list I made for this video is in the description if you want to make your own tier list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye guys, and I'll see you in the next one.